Hello, listeners, and welcome to Spooky Time with Mike and Mindy.
Hi, spookers.
Hi, everyone.
We are back.
We're back. We're back. It's
yeah.
November now.
Yeah, so it's kind of like weird with all the Christmas stuff already happening, but still thinking about how we just like hardcore Halloweens last week.
Right.
Like hardcore. We have so much stuff to talk about.
Right. We did so much stuff, and it's like we're thinking about how do we even put it all into podcasts, but make it so it's something that people still want to listen to.
Right.
And not like 2 hours long or way too in depth, but like it's all super cool stuff. And it's like, so bear with us.
Yeah. So this episode, firstly, is just going to be the houses, like just what we liked, the list of houses, like our least favorite house to our most favorite house with little bits of information about them. But we're going to go more in depths of fear into each house. We'll probably do like an original house episode and an IP house episode, sprinkling in our Unmasking the Tour or Unmasking the Horror Tour experience while we do that.
Yeah. I think we might have an episode specifically talking about the tour itself.
Yeah.
But rather than what we learned about the houses on the tour, we're just going to sprinkle it in as fun facts for the houses when we talk about them.
Mm-hmm. And we need a Scare Zone episode.
We're trying not to make an episode about every house.
Yeah.
Unlike announcement videos or
announcement
episodes, which I think are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Announcement episodes are different because there's the anticipation, there's the what you think it could be. But as far as like what the houses are, I mean, you could hear us recite to you a room by room or scene by scene walkthrough, but you could just go to YouTube and watch the videos of someone going through it. Or you already went.
Yeah, I would recommend, Tim Tracker has some pretty good Halloween Horror Nights footage of each of the houses. So if that's something that you want to see, to go look at their YouTube videos.
Otherwise we figured we wouldn't do a scene for scene, scare for scare retelling.
Just like our highlights.
Right, the highlights, what stood out to us or like what caught our attention or sparked our curiosity or, anything like that.
Yeah. So, and I think it'll be a while we're still talking about Horror Nights. And let us know, too, if you're interested in Universal Studios and our time that wasn't spent, at Halloween Horror Nights, because we can always do like a bonus episode about Universal Studios. And we do have to talk about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party as well, because that is spooky related.
Yes, it is.
So that'll be an episode
There's
coming up.
There's going to be some crossovers, folks.
Yeah.
We're going to cross the streams.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this episode is just going to be, we're going to refer back to like our top 3 most anticipated houses and then
don't worry, we have them here so you don't have to go listen to that episode if you haven't or don't want to.
Yeah.
But I think it's part of the fun for me for Horror Nights is going and then coming back and comparing what you thought you were going to like to what you actually liked.
Yeah.
And then why.
Yeah.
Like, why were you wrong? Or why were you right?
Exactly.
Most of the times I'm way wrong.
Oh, mine isn't that. Well, one of them's kind of off. But I will start by saying that number 10 for both of us was Stranger Things. And then I'll talk about our top 3 for each of us. So my number 1 was Killer Clowns. Number 2 was Graveyard Games. And then number 3 for me was House of a Thousand Corpses. And then for you, number 1 was House of a Thousand Corpses. Number 2 was Yeti, Terror of the Yukon. And then number 3 was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Yeah. So let's just go through the list of like how they announced it and then tell people where we placed it. And then we'll recap with our 10 through number 1 for how it actually turned out.
Right. So the order is from when it was announced, what we ranked it as our anticipations, and then how we now are ranking it at time of recording, because as time goes on...
We might change our mind.
You can change your mind, but as of right now... couple days back from it. Actually, this past weekend we were there.
Yeah.
So, from there.
Just that's crazy to think about is like 2 nights ago the
I was
event was starting.
Last night sleeping, I was like, I don't know. I had some weird, crazy, like, nightmare dreams. I thought I was still on a tour, or I was late for something to get to a house, and then I, like, woke up and had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and I was like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, that's just this thing over here that's been in my house this entire time. But now that the lights are off, I think everything's going to scare me. Or, like, I thought
thought I was hiding somewhere.
I thought she was around the corner, and it was just, like, our laundry hamper or basket, and we were doing more loads of laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you did hide around the corner.
No.
One time. Yes, you did.
Oh, yeah, I did.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. You're like, no, I didn't. Yeah, you did. That time you did.
All right.
Anyway, go ahead. So, Stranger Things was the first house that was announced.
We both ranked it number 10 as our anticipation list.
We did. So that would be the least anticipated.
So what number did you rank it as?
I put it as 10.
I did too. It stayed number 10 for me as well.
Number 10.
It has nothing, it literally has nothing to do with like the house because I knew
Nope.
it was going to be amazing. I knew it was going to be really detailed. I just don't care.
Oh, wow. I will say that I thought it was detailed. I thought it was great, but it's a horror event, and this is a sci-fi show with, I will say, elements of suspense.
Yeah.
It's a suspenseful drama sci-fi.
Yeah,
It's not a horror show.
And with a house, you miss all of like the actual character development, their
Right.
personal storyline.
Right.
So they specifically left out, you know, like 11 and Mike's relationship
right.
and all that kind of stuff. It's literally
So
just
if
like
it's-
demodogs and demogorgons.
And if it's just down to the scare, and like another thing too is like not to like crap all over Stranger Things, because like
it's a great show.
both of us were crying at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
Like you get invested and they tell the story really well. The problem is that it's not a horror show. So when you put it in a horror event, you have to strip it of all those laughter moments and like the heartwarming moments. You have to get rid of all of that
and all the humor. Like there's still some things that could be funny, but like it's just not.
It's different.
It doesn't.
No, there was not 11 saying, "I dump your ass."
Yeah,
you know
that
what I mean?
wasn't in there either.
That's
like,
not there.
Yeah, because why would it be? It doesn't make sense to have that as part of it.
It's not a scare.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the challenge. So just to be really clear about, you know, to people listening, we don't hate Stranger Things.
I actually really like the show, but I don't think it's rewatchable because once you know what happens, you know what happens.
Then the magic's gone.
For me, like watching the season the first time, it's awesome, but I can't go back and rewatch it. And we've kind of had this conversation a lot, and I don't want to keep being like, oh, Stranger Things, meh. So when we do talk about this house, I'm actually really excited to talk about it because there's so many details and it was done so well. So I am excited to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that talking about Stranger Things in general to me just seems so, it's overdone. It's just, everybody knows what it is, you know? Like
Yeah, I get it. But I only said that I only went on that tangent just so that people know we weren't just like, oh, it sucked 10.
Yeah, no.
Like, no.
It was still a really great house. This was
Yeah.
literally like the top of a lot of people's houses that they loved. People were coming back all decked out in Stranger Things
The
stuff.
longest waits every night
For Stranger Things, because it was done so well.
Yeah.
And the scare actors knew what they were doing. Everyone was really dedicated to their parts, and I like have mad respect for the designers of this house, and we'll get into that for sure. It was done really well. It's just
enough clarification.
Moving on.
We got an episode to do.
All right.
No, I just don't want people to like jump down your throat. All right.
Yeah.
So the next house that was announced,
Nightingale's Blood Pit.
Blood Pit.
And I had this down at number 7, and I think that like we talked about this in our anticipation episode, which was like everything after Stranger Things was super hard to put into a list because I was so excited for almost all of these houses.
Yeah.
And you have it as number 8 for your anticipation.
I do.
So where did it fall for you on your list?
Number 9.
Oh God.
It dropped. It dropped.
Mine's number 3. Mine like
Holy what?
yeah.
What the what?
I freaking love
Your
this
top
house.
3?
It's in my top 3 houses for this year.
Okay. Why? Go for it.
Okay, a lot of people don't like the smell, but I love the smell. It was so bloody. I love the creatures. They were designed like these crazy bird-like monster type of Oh, I don't know. It's so hard to describe. But I did post a picture of meeting one of them on Facebook, but I'll post another picture from Character Dining and from our Unmasking the Horror tour so that you could see the design of these creatures and like the Colosseum that they created and the lion and like that last room with all of the fog and the pillars and the roaming scares. It was just so cool. I loved it.
Okay.
So why is it so low on yours?
Okay, so what you had, the phenomenon you just described, how like all of these were like so sandwiched together in awesomeness that it was so hard to put one above another.
Yeah.
That's really where I'm at. So
Yeah.
like, you know,
It just wasn't a creature you're as
we
fascinated
should draw
with.
like a sample graph, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the differences between all of them is linear.
Yeah.
You know, it or like exponential.
You know, like in math when you learn about asymptotes and like it just keeps getting so close to zero but never hits that.
Yes.
Like this
Yeah,
is what the rest of the house is
they're-
beyond Stranger Things
honestly,
is for me.
and it's like one thing after another of like minuscule reasons why one was placed over another.
Yeah.
And as we're recording this, I'm still not sure about some of them that are going to be coming out here, and I'm going to have to feel like I'll have to defend myself a lot tougher than this one.
Yeah.
So good luck to me.
Yeah.
No, number 9, but again, it's not bad. It's
Yeah.
not number 9.
I think it wasn't your style because you're
Yes,
more
yes,
like
yes.
you're more sci-fi and like
I am.
Alien and Predator and like that type of stuff.
Yep.
Whereas this is like a like bird monster type of thing, or as people were saying, like monster chickens.
Right.
So
Yeah, just for me. But but they didn't do a bad job.
Oh, no.
Like, it was so well done.
Yeah.
Like, I liked it, but yeah, I just didn't connect with it, I guess. You're right.
and I love living in blood apparently. So
Guess so.
I was raving about this house and I actually regret putting it so low on my list. I might change it to number 2. But right now it's number 3 right now.
It's
That's
okay.
what I put
it's
it
okay.
as.
I might have to do a flippity flop here in a little bit too. Okay, so the next one that was announced was Universal Monsters, which you, for your anticipation, had put as 8.
Yeah.
And I put as 9.
Yeah, so it's both ranked pretty low on our list.
It was, but Mindy, where did it end up on yours?
Mine moved up to number 6.
All right, that's good motion.
Yeah, not top half. But I loved this house going like room by room into different monsters and stuff. And just the effects that they used, for instance, for Quasimodo for Hunchback with all the mirrors. And then like he was on this like bungee rope thing that would drop down from this bell. And like it just was so awesome that the way they portrayed these characters. I didn't necessarily like the transitions between the rooms and stuff, and I feel like there could have been things that made this better. Unfortunately, it's one we didn't go through the Unmasking the Horror tour on, which I think would have enhanced my experience with this house and would have moved it up more. But I did really like it. I thought it was great. What about you?
I was actually writing something down, so I missed the number. What did you rank it
Oh,
as?
mine's number 6.
6, got it. I put it as 8.
Wow. I mean,
I put it as 8, and I'll tell
it
you why.
moved up one spot for you, which isn't a lot.
No, again, done really well. But let me just explain myself.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for a black and white house.
I know.
Really, really, really was.
A classic Universal Monsters house.
Exactly. And also, too, why I thought this was odd is they're Universal Monsters, but they were very clear that this is like an 80s themed year, and a lot of the properties and a lot of the well, no, because like Nightingales wasn't really either. That wasn't 80s either. So, but they said it was an 80s theme. They really pushed it hard.
Yeah.
Maybe they meant for IPs only, but I wasn't thinking. I don't know. I was just thinking like, well, how would they make it? Universal Monsters is in 80s. They weren't any Universal Monster movies in the 80s, and so that's what I was hoping. Well, then just make it black and white, like.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm glad they didn't, because like the Mummy with the colors of the runes and like
yes,
there were a lot of reasons why I'm glad they didn't do that. But if they did do that, this would be a lot higher for me.
Sure.
Just because of the respect of just how they would have had to do it to make it black and white, but still make you be scared and show all these scenes using only a scale of gray, a gray scale. Like, yeah. So 8, but not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It was a really enjoyable
It was
house.
great.
Yeah.
What I really loved, really quickly, what I loved that they did is they had call outs to, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Right?
Well, I mean, it was a whole room for
Yeah.
Quasimodo, yeah.
Well, right, but that's what I mean. Like, they did this whole awesome thing of this movie that is so old that most people haven't seen it or even heard of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Without knowing it was one of their original, like, the original monster movie. And then, like, Phantom of the Opera. Like, they did so many good scares with these movies that just have never been redone.
Well, and I think, too, that this is kind of like their resurgence. They're, like, bringing back those monster movies. So I think this is, like, an introduction.
With the new park.
Yeah.
Right, they're reintroducing all of us to these classic monsters.
I think that's exactly what this house is for, without telling us straight up, like, hey, guys, we're redoing all this stuff, so pay attention to it. I think this was a secret, like, subliminal, hey, get ready for this stuff, because it's coming back.
Get back on it, because we're bringing it back.
Yeah, which is really cool to think about, and I'm excited for all these new monster movies to come out, and also for Epic Universe, the new park, the third park.
But it's going to have a permanent...
that classic monsters section.
It's going to have a permanent Universal Monsters section.
Yeah, which is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
So the next was Depths of Fear, which was number 9 for me and number 7 for you.
For our anticipation.
For anticipation list. Where did it end up for you on your list?
Number 7.
Mine was number 9. So it literally stayed the same.
What? Number 9? Defend yourself. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, you already said it. It had very, like, alien vibes.
Yeah.
Like, it was thematically, like, obviously the situation was totally not in space, not Ellen Ripley, not an alien, but, like, in spirit and in theme, it was pretty much like Alien underwater. Yeah,
so the creatures, we should say, were pretty much like, if you've seen, I would say, Creature from the Black Lagoon with, like, this aqua costume, but had these huge fish heads.
With giant sharp teeth.
Yeah, with giant sharp teeth, like a piranha head, pretty much. Yep. And they looked kind of hokey and ridiculous, and...
yeah, they did.
There was, like, green eggs everywhere. Because
but no ham.
Oh, because Dr. Seuss.
Which is also in Universal.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Okay.
So, and they had, like, these infected people and stuff and, like, dead bodies.
Well, they were called mouth brooders.
Yeah.
Because they spit the eggs at people, and then, like, the acid on the eggs melts the people, and then the eggs hatch and feed off the people.
Yeah. So, and I ended up liking this house more than I expected to after we did the Unmasking the Horror tour, but it still ended up number 9. And I don't want to go into that because I could talk more about it, but we'll just leave that for our other episode.
I agree.
But I did really like this house. I just...
Oh, same.
It's not scary to me. Like, I didn't expect nightingales to be scary because they're just, like, monsters and stuff, too. So that's kind of why this one's just low. I mean, it wasn't bloody or any... There was some blood, but... Oh, also, I do want to mention that this house had, like, a severed dog in it. And that kind of also made it really low on my list as well. And we could talk a little bit more about that in the episode. Yeah. So we learned more detail about that.
The dog didn't make it.
Yeah.
To be fair, no one made it, but...
Yeah, but it wasn't...
It was a choice. It was a choice.
It was an incorrect choice.
It didn't have to be made.
Yeah.
But the choice was made.
Yeah. So that's why it's number 9.
Which, so another thing, too, is, like, when it comes to Stranger Things, well, there's, like, a dead cat, but that's from a property.
But I didn't even see the dead cat until we had the Unmasking the Horror tour. Then I saw it.
It wasn't really featured.
It was, like, kind of hidden, and if you're looking at the rest of the scene, you're not going to notice the cat, whereas the dog was like a very prominent focus of, like, this turn that you had to do. So that just, like... And plus, I really love when things smell like stuff, but this house smelled disgusting. Like, super gross, disgusting water. And not like Pirates of the Caribbean water where it reminds you of happiness. It was just gross smelling. And I don't feel like it added to it. It just took me out because I was like, oh, that was a disgusting choice that didn't enhance it for me. It kind of pulled me out. So But where was it
Got
on
it.
yours?
Dead dogs, bad smells.
Yeah.
Mine was 7.
Yeah, 7.
So it was a little lower. I appreciated the spirit sequel, right? Or like the spirit reference to Alien. And it's not just because of the monsters, but like how it looked like it had like the graded flooring, the kind of metal hexagonal.
It was like a spaceship, but like an underwater
but it was
vessel.
underwater,
Yeah.
and there was literally the heroine, right?
Yeah.
The only survivor is the woman, and she's helping you out. She's like, get to the escape pods, And that's the other thing too, is there's a countdown of the facility to implode, but in an Alien it's explode. So there's like the major countdown and the showdown at the end, and I mean it was very reminiscent of Alien with just a totally completely different type of concept, but very similar. So I like that about it, but it could have been better.
Yeah.
It's number 7 for me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so what about Yeti, Terror of the Yukon?
I had it on the anticipation list at 4, and you had it.
Do you feel that chill?
I do. I did love that. And then you had it as number 2, so it was in your top 3 most anticipated.
It was.
What, did it remain there?
It was. It was in my top 3. It's number 6.
Oh, yikes.
It's number 6.
How did it fall so low?
I know. Well, here's the thing. The other houses were just so good. The houses above this one on my list, I wasn't expecting how good they could be, and I wasn't ready for how good they made them.
Yeah.
Yeti was a great house. It was a great house. It was cold like how I wanted.
There was like dripping
barren
icicle,
like how I
like
wanted.
blood,
It
and
was
like
desolate like how I wanted. They had scenes with mirrors where it just like felt like it went on, like the forest of just. I guess that's one thing I wish, if there was a bit more of that scenic forest. They did it a bit with mirrors, but not like with Scarecrow.
Right.
I think of Scarecrow and mirrors, they made that cornfield feel like it went on forever.
Yeah,
I wish
you were
they would have.
in like a campground. Though,
Yeah, you were
so
pretty much like at a
things
campground. You were in a cabin. You went to a cave. I mean, like, it was still good. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. But the other houses, I think, really, this is what happened. The other houses just blew me away. I wasn't expecting to like the other houses as much as it did. And
your expectations were too high for this house, so therefore it fell.
I don't know if my expectations were too high. The other house.
It was number 2 on your list. That's pretty high for anticipation and excitement.
I thought whatever. What about for you?
I put it as number 8, so it fell a lot for me as well.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yikes!
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was well detailed, but I mean...
It's a monster.
I felt... So, like, a lot of the times with these houses, you feel transported. This one, I still felt like I was in a soundstage. Like, I don't feel like things were covered enough.
Yeah.
I felt like you could tell that things were hanging from a ceiling or something.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, some of the other houses, you, like, know that you're...
It made you look up a lot.
Yeah.
And because it was so white, it was lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I didn't even think about the visual aspect of it being brighter inherently because of snow.
Yeah. So I think it just... Because things were tall and things were up and stuff, I thought the scares in the cabins and things were done well, but then I felt like the Yetis were too short. But then when I was put outside, I felt like I wasn't actually outside. Yeah. I don't know. I just...
No, I get it.
We'll talk more about it when we talk about this house. I just was kind of really disappointed with it. It didn't transport me like a lot of the other houses. I did like how they had these blood icicles, though, and if you walked under it just at the right time, it would, like, drip on you, so you thought that it was, like, blood icicles dripping on you.
A bloodsicle, yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. But, yeah, it didn't wow me the way I thought it was going to.
Okay.
So, the next house was Ghostbusters. I had anticipated it at number 5, and you had number 4.
Yep.
Where'd you put it?
Right up to the top. Number 1.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Number 1. What about you?
4.
That's it. Done. Episode over. Goodbye. Goodbye. I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay, not really. I am back. Are you serious? Oh my god. So here's the
It
thing.
didn't make my top
Here's
3.
the thing. I thought about not putting it in the top 3.
Yeah.
But then I was like, that'd be dishonest though.
Yeah.
Like, I just had so much fun
Yeah.
in this house. So much fun. And so did everybody.
Yeah.
The cast loved it. The people loved it.
Yeah.
People were singing in line the Ghostbusters theme song walking into the house and walking out of the house.
Yeah.
Like,
listen, I loved this house, and
I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm explaining why
Yeah.
I felt like I had to put it as my number 1 because I feel like I'd be lying if I put it any lower.
Mm.
For me,
Yeah.
I'd be lying.
Yeah.
I would be.
I think that I don't have as big of a connection to Ghostbusters as you do.
Okay.
I really love Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But it's not bloody and gory and disgusting.
It's not. No,
And-
here's where you're right. Here's where you're absolutely right. Again, so it's like, it's funny because we put Stranger Things at 10, but I'll put Ghostbusters at number 1. Am I being a bit of a hypocrite? Is that what you're saying?
you are.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Call me
You're
hypocrite.
being
Call
a
me hypocrite.
because it's not really
Ghostbusters
scary.
scarier than Stranger Things, though.
I agree. It is
Ghostbusters
scarier.
stranger than
It's
or
literally
scarier than Stranger
ghosts.
Things?
I mean, but some people are scared of like demogorgons and stuff. I would be scared of one if one showed up in my room. Like,
well,
for sure.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Ghostbusters is classic, whereas Stranger Things is
Contemporary.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
So
Classic. Oh, God.
I feel like having
some of our listeners are going to feel so old.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters is classic.
well, yeah.
I know, it kind of is. Let's be real, it is.
Yeah.
It came out before we were born
Yeah.
by a few years. So we definitely were up in the hype of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think it's so much fun and stuff. And it is like Stranger Things though, where it's not it's not horror.
I know, but it made me feel so good.
Yeah. Well, and that's why some people like
Love
put
Stranger
Stranger
Things.
Things as number
Totally
1.
get
It's
it.
like they love being there.
Well, and I loved it too. But here's the thing is Ghostbusters had the awesomeness tied in with the ghosts, whereas Stranger Things had the awesomeness separate from the Demogorgons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I love the characters in Stranger Things,
Right, but you
it's
didn't get
so
the
separate.
You didn't get the characters in Stranger Things
Yeah.
because they made it about the scares.
Yeah,
and
whereas Ghostbusters melded it
the scares
all together.
is where the humor is.
They crossed the stream.
They crossed the streams.
Plus that had marshmallow smells.
God, then die.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to talk more
So
about this
good.
house.
All right, yep.
But I mean, having it at number 4, it's pretty much number 1, honestly, because everything is so close together when
I
you get
know.
past a certain point.
I know. All right. So let's go on to
Killer
the next one.
Clowns.
Killer Clowns. Now, on our anticipated list, Miss Melinda here, you had it as your number 1 most anticipated. I had it as my number 3. So this is top 3 for both of us. But top of the list for you, you got a face. Mindy, was it number 1?
It's number 5.
What?
I was really disappointed in it.
Oh my god. Okay. Does your disappointment stem from how short it was?
It was a
'Cause
very,
it was a
very
small
short house.
It got a small house. Okay.
It was a very short house. Let me just say, also, it's not horror, really. It's just not.
What are you talking about?
I think it did so much.
What are you talking about?
I think it did so much better as a scare zone because I feel
Yes,
like
yeah.
the zones, if they're not like, I feel like the zones are perfect to be like on that cusp of like scary but not so scary because you're going in between all these houses where
Yeah.
you're feeling claustrophobic and closed and stuff. So it's nice to have that little break. Whereas like Killer Clowns as a house, first of all, it's in my least favorite area, which is the Shrek Theater.
Yeah.
And while Krampus was in that house, I think, that area,
Yeah.
it's just always too short. The express line is weird. Like, it just seems to not work the same way as the
Yeah.
other express lines. So you feel like you're there a lot longer.
Yeah.
And,
It doesn't. Yeah.
and like, it just doesn't. Same with Yeti. I just didn't feel as in it as, as I should have. If that makes sense.
It does.
So
It does.
it had a lot of like my favorite scenes and stuff from the movie, and it had the music and stuff. but it's so hard to capture the charm of that film. And I think that they tried really hard.
It's hard to capture the charm of killer clowns
Well, 'cause I wanted-
from outer space.
I wanted to see the
funny.
I wanted to see the popcorn attacking the chick in the bathroom. I wanted to see like all these extra things that we just didn't get. And Clownzilla was amazing, but there were better large creatures in other houses that it was fine. And it wasn't on the Unmasking the Horror Tour. If it was, maybe that would have changed my opinion, but that's why it was a bit lower. What about you?
Well, I actually am correcting my list right now.
Oh my gosh, you can't correct it like mid-recording.
No, I can because it's right. Killer Clowns for me was also number 5.
You just changed it? Okay.
It also was 5.
Okay.
It was. Because it was shorter. It was shorter, and the effects in the scare zone itself gave it more room versus
I think you need to be able to interact with these characters to really have a good time.
They have personality.
Yeah.
They have personality, and if they can't get their personality across, you're not in love with them.
Exactly.
And in the scare zone, I felt their personality. And also, too, let's be real, the scare zone mimicked the part of the movie
where they're like attacking the town
when
playing,
they've attacked the town.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's like the best part of the movie is when they're attacking the town.
Yep.
The beginning is whatever, and then the end is like whatever, but like the best parts is when they're interacting with
and
the
being
people.
Silly and goofy and like with their dog all that stuff.
And the puppets or shadow puppets, you know what I mean? But when they're in the spaceship, which is largely where this was based, like it's
it's just not the same.
It's not the same feel at all.
Yeah.
So 5.
Okay.
5. But I did like Clownzilla. They did have like the iconic moments. What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
Yeah.
There's just all those.
We'll talk more about it when we talk about the IPs, because I definitely liked a lot of this house.
Of course, it wasn't bad, but yeah.
Yeah. The next one is Us, and we had that as number 6 for both of us on our anticipation list.
Mm-hmm.
Is this in your top 3?
It is not.
Ooh, where is it?
4.
Okay, so I figured it was
almost.
It must have been up there because you really loved this house.
It's almost up there.
Yeah. I really loved this house too, and I feel like I should change my list around.
What'd you have it as?
7.
What?
Yeah.
Did we go through the same house?
Listen, this house was amazing.
Oh my god.
It was amazing. And I kind of regret having it so low.
Oh my
Honestly,
god.
I should put it above Killer Clowns.
Oh my god. Put it above Killer Clowns or our marriage is over.
Okay, I'll move it.
No, I'm kidding.
No, it's fine.
Let me explain why I put it 4, right?
I'm moving it to 5.
No. I put it above Killer Clowns, and it is just out of the top 3. But I'll put it to you this way: if I disqualify Ghostbusters,
it'd be in your top 3
because I'm in love with Ghostbusters. If I took that out because of if I ignored my personal bias, us would be top 3.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I was telling Mindy before we started recording this, like Ghostbusters shouldn't be in this. It shouldn't be in this category. Like it doesn't belong.
Just like
It's
Stranger
not,
Things
right.
doesn't belong.
It's
Killer
not
Clowns
fair.
doesn't really belong.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
But yes, so I would say realistically Us is top 3 because Ghostbusters just, I mean, it transcends everything. It's just so good. All right, so anyway, but yeah, Us was number 4 for me. I loved it.
It was really good.
I loved it so much. I just loved the other ones coming up next that much more.
Yeah.
But I loved this one.
Yeah.
I loved the way that they did the minimalism with like the soundtrack and how they kept it quiet for the most part, but then just like hit you with a wall of sound right at the right moments. Like
and the scare actors were so good in this house.
And all they did was just stay put and then just like do like a neck twitch turn. Like they just
like they were able to maintain their facial expressions so well
and
for
their
scaring
posture.
People. Yeah.
They stayed put until right when they meant to not stay put. And it
This must have been such a fun house
it was
to work in.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
I loved it. And I know a lot of people didn't really love it. And I think it's maybe because they didn't see the movie.
If you didn't see the movie, you don't understand it.
Because I could see how it's not as scary if you didn't see the movie, because you don't really understand what's happening. So,
right.
But we were both very excited for us. I know when we did our anticipation or the announcement episode about this, because it is such a good movie. And I think they really knocked it out of the park with every scene they did. And I don't want to start talking about it.
No, we should
because
stop. But
we're just going to go on and on.
And we're gonna. But it was, man, it was good.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are only 2 left.
Mm-hmm.
So Graveyard Games, which was the last original house that they had announced. Mindy, my dear, you had it at number 2. I have a feeling like I know where it wound up on your list. Mine was the middle of the pack. I put it right at 5 because I wasn't quite sure where to put it.
Where do you think I put it?
Well, you were put it as number 1.
I did put it as number 1.
Obviously, and you know where I put it.
Where?
Number 2.
Yeah.
So if we take Ghostbusters out,
it's your number 1.
It's your number 1.
Oh my god.
So Graveyard Games. All right.
I don't want to talk too much about it because
we shouldn't.
These next 2 houses, I feel like we're gonna be able to talk a lot about.
Yeah.
And
I can just high level it though.
Yeah, you do it because otherwise I'm just gonna spiral.
I loved the enhanced storytelling aspect for an original house.
Yes.
We didn't get around to bring on the shame. We didn't get around to doing the Facebook messaging part, which I really, really wanted to do. But realistically speaking, we ran out of time and we got a little overwhelmed. And, we didn't get around to doing it.
Well, and we were in the express line, and they were projecting stuff onto the
they had
the building.
A social media feed.
Yeah, and so we were just really distracted by.
You got the story even there.
Yeah,
you know, like they did a really good job of trying to give you the story before you got into the house.
Yeah, like 2 teens defacing the graveyard, and there's like this mother ghost that protects the kids, and there's this whole storyline.
I feel like the challenge, and I've mentioned this too, like IPs, you've seen the movies, you've watched them, you obsess over them, you love them. Originals, the challenge is like getting you in that mindset, right? That's always the challenge. But with Graveyard Games, what they did was something totally unique that I think told the story before you even got in the house, which was awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I really loved about it.
I loved the colors. I loved the theme. I loved the design. I felt like I was in a graveyard. Like everything flowed so well.
Speaking
in
of
this
flowing,
house.
Those ghosts were floating around.
Yeah.
You really did feel like they did a good job of doing like those chilling effects and like the candles just being blown out without
the candles.
Without seeing
Don't let me get into it.
No, I know. I'm gonna try and continue here. You know, and they just like and the giggling and like the kids.
Oh my god!
And then it got really dark.
Red Rover.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I know. They did a wonderful, wonderful job, and of course the iconic "Babe, where are you?"
This isn't funny anymore.
Oh my god, it was so good. All of it was so well done, so well acted. I just
okay.
All right.
So both of us have it up very high. Number 1 for me, number 2 for you.
Last one. Well, I would say realistically number 1 for me because Ghostbusters. But, you know.
So the last house was House of 1,000 Corpses, which I had listed as number 3 for anticipation, and you had it as number 1.
I did.
So how far did it drop?
To 3.
To 3. I had it at number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with Ghostbusters out, it's my number 2.
Yeah.
Right? No, I mean, they did with House of 1,000 Corpses.
Run.
Run. They did such a good job. Now here's the thing though, like if it had been a bit more like how I thought it was going to be, it would have steamrolled over everything.
Yeah, I agree.
But they didn't have you go through the murder ride like how I wanted it.
I didn't go through the tunnel the way I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted more. It was too short.
Yes, all the scenes were there, but it's like the way that you hit all the marks, but the way you went through it.
It was too short.
Oh my
I just
God.
wanted more.
I know.
I wanted to feel like I was getting trapped and there was no way out, and like, just so overwhelming and encompassing, and like
What you really wanted was that dark blue, just skeletons on every side of you.
I wanted to feel the webs around my face. I
wanted to run.
Yes.
You wanted to run, Rabbit.
And it was too short. It was too short. It was too freaking short.
Sorry, friends. Our black cat Binks came and found us because he was snuggling on the couch with me and I left him, and now he came to find
He's
me.
like, I'm so sleepy. What are you doing?
I was snuggling, and then you left me, and now I'm back. I found your lap again. All right, so for me, I will say this, though, that, like, they did a great job. It was super awesome. I loved how they did, like, the transitions. So, like, I appreciated the house more when we did the unmasking. This is the one where the unmasking
because we got so
helped.
much more time in that house. And it was the first one that we went through, so I just felt like I was more fresh, too, to take in all the details.
Yes.
And we'll talk way more about it, but, like...
Oh, yeah. Well, one thing I will say...
There's just so much great stuff
One thing
in
I will
that
say
house.
right away up front, I'll just say it. Looking at the facade, I was like, where's the clown?
Yeah.
And then, like, first thing that happens when you walk in is the clown.
Yeah.
I was just like, but I'm looking at the facade, I'm like, this isn't accurate. Where's the clown?
Yeah.
He's right there.
Yeah.
I was being stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, I wanted there to be a clown. I didn't even go through it yet, and already I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Get over it, Mike.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like, the whole... The real part of it, too, right? Like, Sid Haig's character of Captain Spaulding, like, and he passed in real life, like, weeks after this house started, like, with Howlin' Horror Nights. Like, it came alive, and then he stopped being alive. It's so, like...
It was really great because the house started with him and then ended with him as well.
Well, and I was hearing, too, like, people were giving, flowers to the scare actor.
Yeah.
Being Captain Spaulding, and, like, it's like the fans just loved the house, loved Captain Spaulding, loved Rob Zombie. They loved it. I felt the love. How about that? I felt the love going through that house of people that are, we'll say a little messed up, but in a good way, right? Because the world's messed up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So why not be a little messed up too?
Yeah.
But just loving it for the right spirit of things. Mm-hmm.
It was just a really good house overall.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
That's a house I could have gone in over and over again unexpectedly because I thought it would be way too overwhelming. But like it just felt good in an awkward sort of way to say that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like it just
the world's a little messed up.
Yeah.
And so you're a little messed up, and the house was a little messed up, and it was good.
Yeah.
And, the other thing too is like when I say the love, like the love of horror is really Rob Zombie made that movie to pay tribute to the horror movies of his youth growing up. He wanted to make something that both added to the genre, but celebrated it too. That's really what he's about. He loves the genre and the movies that made it, hokey and lame as some of them can be. It doesn't matter because it's about fun and just being a bit of that outsider, being a bit of that outcast, the kid that liked, monster movies or scary movies growing up, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
I wasn't the sports kid growing up. I was the Sci-Fi Channel monster movie, TNT monster marathons, Joe Bob Briggs, you know what I mean? Like, that was me growing up. And so I definitely, I got all those feels. I got the good feels. Exactly how it was meant to come across, I feel it did. Yeah.
Yeah. So, number 10, just to recap on everything, we both had Stranger Things as our final, list.
That was it.
That could still change.
Yeah.
And then my top 3 was Graveyard Games, number 1, House of a Thousand Corpses, number 2, and then Nightingale's Blood Pit, number 3. And I'm not going to bother going through the rest because everything is so close together that, it just doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
What about you? What were your top 3 then?
My number 3 was House of a Thousand Corpses. My number 2 was Graveyard Games.
Yeah.
And my number 1 was Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And it's not fair, but it just was.
Yeah.
And, I will say this, that like Ghostbusters as a property wasn't necessarily going to be my number 1 because House of a Thousand Corpses was supposed to be my number 1.
Yeah.
But the way that they did the house, how they chose to do it, that's what made it my number 1 for this year.
Yeah. It was overall a really, really, really strong year.
And you know what it makes me super excited for? Next year.
Yeah.
Because they've already announced dates. They've already confirmed 10 houses, 5 scare zones.
Yep. So September 10th through October 31st, 2020. It's already official.
I know. The 30th year.
Which is just so awesome. I can't wait.
It's already going to happen. And
I'm already bothering Whitney to book our next trip. So.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it just got me excited for next year. Mm-hmm. It got me excited for next year already. It was such a good year. It was just such a good year. And, like, just to recap, like, Stranger Things number 10, that doesn't mean it sucked.
Oh, no.
Like, 10 was good. 9 was good. 8 was good. 7 was good. All this was, like, shades of good, shades of awesome, shades of great.
Yeah.
Coming up with different words to convey the same thing of, like, man, that was so much fun.
Right.
That's really all these houses were. There wasn't a bad one in the mix.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I would
And
go
there's been some
through-
years where we've gone through, like, I think Tomb of the Ancients were like, we thought, man, that was kind of a dud.
Yeah.
But, like,
well, because I couldn't say, like, I didn't like Chance's Lunatic Playground. I didn't like Saw. I didn't like Ash vs. Evil Dead. I didn't
Right.
like Tomb of the Ancients. Like, there were some that I just didn't like. And this year, they were all good. I would go through all of them again.
yes.
And like the
100%.
only one I would skip is Stranger Things, and it's just because to me it's not scary, but the detail is phenomenal. So just to go look at that
Or
alone,
maybe
I
you'd
would go.
skip Depths of Fear.
I would go through Depths of Fear again.
Really?
Yeah, I would go through all of these again.
Cool.
Yeah.
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 I would too.
I thought it was a really strong year. I thought it was not as scary of a year.
That's true. I mean, because it did have, like, the 80s type vibe, like, retro, new, synthwave music.
Like Tron.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
It was really fun.
It was in theme. How about that?
Yeah.
It was in theme.
Yeah. So if you're interested, we're going to have more episodes that talk about the houses, the Unmasking the Horror tour, the Scare Actor Dining we did. And like I said, if you want us to have an episode where we talk about Universal in general, because we went to Volcano Bay and we ate at City Walk a few times.
And we stayed and screamed.
We did Royal Pacific, and like there's just things we could talk about in one episode that maybe we'll just share anyways, just in case you're thinking about a trip to Universal in general.
Put it on our other...
It might be a magical time, or I'll just post it on both. Whichever.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
We're going to break the rules. We're going to bend it. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could keep going on and on, but we're gonna stop for now.
We're gonna do the responsible thing and stop. But yeah, we'll likely have episodes where we do IPs, then originals, then scare zones.
Yeah.
I think that's the proper way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think because it was a 6 and 4, 6 IP 4 original, but I think the originals we have a bit more to talk about than we do the IPs.
Isn't it 5? No, you're right. 6 and 4.
Yeah, 6 and 4.
Yeah.
Because I made the joke, with the tour guide. I was like, oh, yeah, the originals are so great last year that they rewarded them by giving them less.
Yeah,
and he
that's
laughed.
Right. That's right.
Oh,
All right. So stay spooky, spookers.
Thanks for listening, friends.